Live. All right, so I'm going live. I'm gonna wait for a few more minutes before more people show up. If you can see this video, maybe leave a comment, let me know that it's working. This is the first time I'm doing it, so I am so excited as well. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go to the chat room and tell people that we are going live now. The chat is live. Please, it's live. Now. See you there. It's working, right? Okay, it's all good. Let's see who, I don't know where the other people are. So we're just gonna give like maybe 2 more minutes and then we are gonna start this. But so far, like tell me if you guys have any questions, like maybe leave me some comments saying that like if you have anything you want to ask. For the agenda today, we are basically going to talk about the open call, like the tips that I have 8 tips for you. And then the next open call topic. And then also I'm going to take a little time to talk about the Celine Dion Fida contest because I did ask them about some information because I am also confused. And they actually give me like a pretty good answer. So you can like think about what to do with that. All right, so let's see what's online here. So did you guys enjoy the Dior open call? Like, I mean, for the past few days, my feed was flooded with the Dior illustrations, and I actually have seen some that didn't even like submit to me. So I was amazed by the talents, and I think you guys did a really, really good job. I really hope that Dior will actually get to see it, see the whole contest, and see some of the good works. But one thing I can tell you guys, the final 30 actually, one of my contacts sent those illustrations to Maria. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just crossing my fingers. I hope that she will get to see those final 30s and decide to go to Facebook and see the entire gallery. If that's the case, we are lucky. I saw yours, and I think what I need is more, as I said, I think it's more like the creative part that really every illustrator needs to work on. Something that I see, which I'm actually going to talk about with this like open call tips. So bear with me on that one. But I say that when I see a lot of submissions, like 213, 40% of them are actually like not as original as I thought. It was just like, okay, I see what's going on. But what I want is more like you need to think outside the box. And this is actually one of the tips I'm going to give you really soon. So I guess no one is actually having any questions. And it's like 3:02 right now. So I'm just going to start. So as for if you're going to enter all like upcoming open call or other contests, the number one rule to do is to read the instruction carefully. So one of the problem I have encountered in this in the past, or even like in pretty much all the open call, is a lot of people actually submit runway illustrations to me. And especially when I'm in the instructions saying that I don't want any runway illustrations. I want you to be creative. I want you to think outside the box. So basically they get sort of like, imagine I'm going to a restaurant, I'm asking for like a chocolate cheesecake, but then in the end they give me like the chocolate. So I mean, okay, you get half of it, but then you are not actually getting the entire picture. I'm asking for something specific, but however, if you're doing like, if you show me that chocolate cake, but at the same time you give me that chocolate, that's sort of like a bonus. So let's say if you're going to look for the instruction, if I'm saying that I want you to think about the extension of a fairy tale, then in your brain you should think about, okay, I see all those characters, which character should I pick and create like an interesting story with my illustration. So maybe you can be original. Think about, let's say, the mermaid. Maybe the mermaid will be going underwater and looking for a pearl or something, but in a really nice Dior couture like gown. So this is something that I will be looking for. And some other contests I know might be looking for, yeah, they might be looking for the makeup. If that's the case, do a really, really nice portrait and then with show all the makeup. Don't show me like a creative like illustration, because that is not going to fit the the theme of that open call, which I have seen that before as well. So another thing that, especially for my open call, tip number 2 is, if you are going to enter an open call, think like a fashion photographer. What do I mean is, if you're looking for, let's say, I am like a editor. Like if I'm Anna Wintour, I'm commission you a fashion photographer to do an editorial, and you can't just like bring in a runway image to the editorial. I probably will just tell you that, you know what, this is the only time we'll employ you, but the rest of the time you will never be able to get a job for this magazine. So what I would want you to do is think like a photographer. How do you put those characters? How do you put those gangs? Like, what girls do you want to pick to wear those gangs, and what kind of pose, what kind of story you want to tell? When you read those Vogue magazines, you basically know that it's a story. So it's probably like 4 to 6 pages long, and then there will be like different posts. They may be going for a day, like maybe a day trip, going to here, there, and do different things. So same with you. If you are the illustrator, how will you want to create your image and make people look at it and go like, wow, this is really cool. I really want to have this dress. I also want to have this person's life as well. So that's something that you need to consider thinking about when entering an open call. The third, that's for people who actually want to enter the open call late. I do know that a lot of illustrators like to keep looking at the stories I repost and see what kind of like gangs or what kind of like images people are going to illustrate. So this is actually a really important point. So if you know that there's a particular dress that is popular and everyone wants to draw it, I will tell you that don't draw that dress, because this is the reason. So when I look at all the illustrations, it's pretty much like for all the judges, like for all the people judging open calls and contests. So if you have all the submissions in front of me, I start to automatically group those illustrations. If I said, let's say, for example, if I see that particular Dior black gown, I will put it in one category. And there could be like 50 submissions. And to be honest, my brain can only digest so many. And then once I see there is one particular black gown illustration that is really good, I automatically don't really stop looking at the other submissions, because there's a comparison. Like, I want to show the best to the community as well. So I would just look for the best black gown illustration and post it. And the rest, they're not as good as that one. So they will never be showing up on the Instagram feed. So in this case, what I would say is, look at, how do I say it? When you look at the collection, find a dress that you are emotionally attached to. It can be the simple gown. It doesn't need to be the signature piece. I can tell you that sometimes when I pick the final 9, those pieces are not necessarily the signature pieces I find from the collection. When I look at your illustration, I only look at your creativity, the composition, and how well you execute, like how well you actually try to reflect the brand in your illustration. If you can do that, there's a really high chance that I will just go like, wow, this is really good. And sometimes when I'm in the email, I'll just like, wow, this is amazing. Like when I tell you those words, then you kind of know that yes, you kind of made it. I just don't know that if you'll be in the final nine, but you are definitely on my mind, on my list. So as I said, look for a gang, look for a piece that you are emotionally attached, and see how you can like translate it in illustration form. So people be like, I love what you're doing. I love that dress. I love what you're drawing right now. And the fifth, like there's another fifth point. This is another thing that I actually don't get, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. Never ever create an outfit for a collection unless that open call requires you to create a new outfit. It will always be your loss. The reason is, especially when it comes to a couture, if you try to alter the dress, alter this, change the neckline, you know what? If there's a customer ever look at your illustration and actually is a customer of Dior, they can probably just send this picture and tell Dior, I actually want this gown. The thing is, you are the one who actually create that dress. So you basically give free copyright to Dior to actually create your dress without giving you any like royalty or copyright fee. So if you do that, you're not gaining anything. You will not be, I will never choose you as a final nine because this is not what I'm looking for. B, you never get a single cent from the company. And people like the company will like, cool, this is a cool design. Let's copy it. And you will never find a way to actually sue them. So don't do that. And the sixth point, I want you, I know a lot of illustrators constantly try new styles. So if that's the case, when it comes to this kind of open call, if there's no price involved, try new style and push the envelope. The reason I say that is because in this community, when people actually post all the works together, like, just like on Thursday, when everyone posts all the works, you see a lot of illustrators start to comment on each other's like posts. If you're not, this is the time that you will be like, okay, I'm not sure if this like style works. If you start to see people commenting and say, oh my God, I really like this new style. Can you keep going? If that's the case, then I think that you should be keep doing it and like evolve your style. And don't be afraid, because remember, sometimes this kind of open call does not involve a price, but it's more like for you to practice and add stuff to your portfolio. And I feel like this is the right time for you to do something different. So if you say, okay, for the next open call, I want to try a completely new style, go for it and see how people react to it. Because if you do it and people love it, you could be attracting potential clients to talk to you for future projects as well, since like the open call is getting bigger and bigger. I will tell you a little fun story after I tell you all the tips. So number 7 is, if you love politics, if you like to read news, think about incorporate your illustrate like this kind of element into your illustration. Remember, art is like a form of recording history. So if you want to put something that is relevant to the world situation right now, like COVID or like maybe Black Lives Matter, if you can put this element into your artwork, into a really lovely art form, do it. It actually brings out a message. People can relate to it, and I'll be like, okay, if it's nice, I will post it. So try to think about what you can do. I know a lot of people, like my community is from all around the world. So every country probably has different like politics going on. So I would say think about it and maybe express it in your art, like in your illustrations. And number 8, you have to be super confident with your illustration. Like I have received a lot of people emails after they submit the illustrations. they want to edit the piece. Please don't do that. I can tell you that if you send me that email, I kind of just like put your illustration in another pile, because if you're not confident about the piece you're submitting, then what's the point for even sending me the piece? Like, once you send it to a competition, that is the final form. Do not ever think about, oh, maybe I need to like edit it again and send it to me for another revision. Never do that, because it's just not right. And then the rule is you can only submit once. So here are the 8 points that I have for you. And I know, tell me if you have any other questions you have. But before I announce the next open call topic, I'm just going to tell you a fun story about the open call. One of my illustrators actually was talking to me the other day and asked me, when was the first open call I did? And it was actually 2015. The first open call was on Moschino 2015 collection. It's a Barbie collection. And my illustrator was asking me, okay, so how many submissions did you get? I only got 9, and I post all 9 on Instagram. And right now I have, on average, for each Instagram like open call, I have probably between 150 to 200. So this also shows that just keep doing what you love to do, because you never know what will happen next. It can explode. It can, you might be creating one work and everyone just like, oh my God, I love this work, and you'll be famous and you will be getting a lot of attention. So it's just like something that I think is funny and want to share with you guys. So any questions so far? I don't see any question. I don't see any comment. Sandra, hi. I need a little drink first. Okay, so now is the time to tell you the next open call topic. So I have been checking the votes, and the winner for the next open call is MSGM Pre-Fall 2020. And whoever vote for that, you can start working on it now. So the time will be from now till September 6th. I will put it in the Patreon group as well, so you guys can get all the information. I will be announcing the final 9 on September 10th, 11th, and 12th. And after the 6th, September 6th is the final deadline. So September 7th, for the Patreon group, I will be showing 3 of my favorites, and then you guys are going to vote for one of them. One of them will actually become the Patreon winner of the final 9. And oh, Sandra, you follow my tips. I told you, like, it's sort of like a sure win. If you follow all the tips, then you can do it. So we have a live example here. So yes, and then what else do I have to say? You can start working on your piece right now, but do not post any preview, because if you post a preview, people will start to know the topic and it will not be exclusive. So because now I'm just giving you the early access. So please make sure you do not tell people that this is the topic for the next open call. And right now I do have some, like, I'm going to talk about this collection. So I don't know if you're familiar with MSGM. So for me, when I look at their products, so Maximum is more like about giant prints, really pretty, like vibrant prints, colorful outfits. But for this pre-fall, he's actually going back to like classic structure clothing. But at the same time, there's still like really, really interesting floral prints. The whole collection is sort of inspired by an Italian interior designer named Gio Ponti. And then if you can look at, so the prints is actually inspired by the motifs and floors and wallpaper. So for me, I will suggest you to look into Interior Design Magazine. Think about how you can incorporate this whole collection with like furniture, wallpaper, tiles, and make it fun. And because MSGM is all about young, fun, and like it's about streetwear, sportswear, but this is the first time that actually make it, the clothing is more mature than what I have seen in the past. And the designer himself is also like brought up like he used to be in the club scene, he used to be in the beach scene. So you can think about like nature and clubbing in 70s. Those are the things that I'm going to tell you that to look into. And this is also going to be exclusive. I am actually finding a way to talk to, like, to contact Maximo and see if he will be interested in picking one of the winners. So work really hard on this one. If I can make this happen, then make sure that you submit really, really good like illustration to this open call. So I think that's pretty much for this particular open call. Again, if you have any questions, just write it down either on Discord or here. I'll be reading it. Also, now it comes to the Celine Dion Fida competition. So this is something I find really exciting, and it's really different than what I do. So I do encourage you guys to actually enter that competition because it's growing bigger and bigger, and then the winner actually get a guaranteed page. I think one of the illustration will be in the new fashion illustration Bible that is created by Fida. So if you remember the 8 tips I just talked about, here's one tip that I will just say for this Celine. Oh, well, this competition actually is 2 parts, and you can enter either part. You can either enter like one of them is actually illustrate one of the past Celine Dion's outfit, and the other part is actually create an original design for Celine Dion, and the stylist, I think Pepe will be looking at all the entries. So if you're not like the creative type that can create outfits, I would suggest you to actually go back to the archive and look for Celine Dion's like past outfits styled by Pepe. One of the things I'm going to tell you to avoid is to actually illustrate Celine Dion's Met Gala outfit that can, unless you're super attached, you are emotionally attached to that outfit. Because I think that is the outfit that got a lot of people's attention. And I feel like everyone will want to try to illustrate that outfit to get attention. And if you remember what I just said in the tips I gave you, do not go for the most popular option because the judge will see so many of those entries and only pick one. And if that's the case, you probably will not have a high chance to like get recognized by the team. What I'm going to tell you, I think one of the thing. Oh, my sound is complete off. Is it? Can you hear me right now? Tell me. Is my sound still off? Okay, you can hear. So I will keep going. I mean, I can explain to you more in text later if you need any more like clarification. So okay. Few of the outfits I remember that Celine Dion wear will be Iris Van Hepburn. I think whatever all the couture shows she went, she wore like crazy outfits. So if that's the case, look into those like pictures. I think if you give me 1 second, let me see if I can find you some really good example. Runway, because So if you look at Celine, ooh, Celine. So okay, 1 second. If you look at it, she has a lot of cool outfits. Like this is the Met Gala outfit that everyone will probably illustrate. So I will just tell you that try to avoid it. And I think this Richard Quinn one is a really good one if you know how to make it work. This one, because there's so many elements there. Um, like this is another really interesting outfit. So if you can see it. So as I said, try, oh, and this one. This one is like cool. I did ask if you guys can actually, yeah, just search Google image. Like go to, I will just say search Celine Dion runway, and you will see a lot of Celine Dion. And I think she did something. She actually wore something from Off White as well. So just like look at all the fun outfit she wore in the past, but try not to like go for the Met Gala one. As I said, the Met Gala one, it's probably going to be overexposed. And and honestly, I know that Fida is still trying to figure out the second part about the future, like the future outfit for Celine. If they, for example, going to change the rule and say, you know what, you can also use the haute couture fall and winter 2020 or the runway show pieces, then I'm going to tell you that to make sure you look for the fun outfits, because Pepe is really pushing the envelope and trying to create a new image for Celine Dion. So Celine Dion used to be, like all gangs, elegant, but now she's just like so poppy. She just like to explore fashion. She doesn't mind people to like laugh what she's doing. She's just like, oh, you know what? I'm trying to enjoy life, and I try to wear like fun clothing. If that's the case, here are some of the brands that I would recommend you to look into. Victor and Rolf, that fall and winter haute couture collection, where you see the emoji, like emoji gang, that cone, like rope. Think about that one. Iris Van Hepburn, always like a good fit. Alexander McQueen will be another good one. Rick Owens, because Rick Owens is doing like a special collaboration, I think, with Canada Goose for the fall and winter season. So that would be a really interesting like thing to see. Oh no, Montclair. Rick Owens is doing a collaboration with Montclair. So those gigantic like fur puffy coats might be really good on Celine Dion. Richard Quinn for sure with all the prints, and also like Moschino with that like that Mary that classic like Victorian style outfit. That will be really really good for Celine Dion, because she will be like, sure, I'll wear it because it looks crazy and I look fun. So I think those are the things that I have to tell you guys. Now is the time that shoot me questions. Tell me anything you want, like ask me anything before I log off. I plan to stay probably like for 20 more minutes if you have any questions to ask me. And let me look at all the things here. Yeah, why don't you, can you still hear me right now? Because I don't want to I want to make sure that people can sort of hear me. I think we all good, because the chat room is pretty like quiet here. But then, can you particularly one part? Yes, you can actually participate only one part. You don't have to go for two parts. For us, like for the community, I will just say do the past looks. unless you're so confident thinking about, okay, I know Pepe styles, I know exactly what outfit that will look good on Celine. Juliet, the draw dot open call topic is going to be MSGM pre-fall 2020. And as I said, it's inspired by the 70s Italian like interior design. So think about floors, tiles, wallpaper. If you look at the collection, it's pretty structured, classic. So there's like a pretty interesting contrast, but make it fun because MSGM is a really fun brand and it's supposed to be like colorful, cheerful. And at the same time, as I said, I'm working on it right now to find a way to contact Maximo, like the designer of MSGM, and probably let him pick one of the winners if this is going to work out. Yeah, Sandra, it has to be something that she has worn. It can be a award show. It can be from like I think she did Oscar red carpet, any runway shows that she attended to. Or even like if you have been to her Vegas show, you can think about an outfit. But as I said, the Met Gala one, unless you're super like related to it, don't do it. Like it's not going to like get you a bigger chance to get to the final. Okay, so realistic, like I actually have no preference about like your illustration style. That's why the draw dot community is really diverse. What I really like to see is you really need to bring your style. As I said in the previous interview I have with Marguerite, think about every day I go on the hashtag fashion illustration. I see a lot of illustrations. And in order for you to catch my eyes, you need to do something special. I really don't care about whether you're using digital like apps like Procreate, Illustrator to do it, or you use watercolor, pastel, color pencils. As long as it really show your style, tell me a story. We are all storytellers. So if you can tell me a really good stories, I'm buying into it. I will love it. The client will love it. Sometimes client love um, really simple styles, but sometimes people like client will be like, I love a storyline. I want to have complicated things inside the illustration. So first of all, you need to define which direction you want to go. And then afterwards, you will slowly like develop your own unique style. I have no problem for you to actually mimic some illustrators like style for now. So first of all, I would suggest is look into which illustrator you look up to, and then start to draw their style. And then from there, start to work on your own personal flair, add a twist to that style so that it will become your own style. And once you can do that, then you will start to be able to create some really interesting artwork. As I said, if you are lost, look into Roberto Sanchez like Instagram account. His illustration style has evolved so much throughout the years, from basically from one point to another point to a whole different point, and now he has developed his own style. And then also, if you want any like feedback, critique, you can also like drop your illustration to like the chat room, and then the mentors will be looking at it. I'll be looking at it. I will tell you, oh, okay, this is really new. Or maybe I'll like, you know what, you can look into this illustrator and see how you can use that style, incorporate into your style, and make it your own style. Sandra, see you later. I will talk to you again. And okay, can we draw more than one outfit in one illustration? Absolutely. I suggest you to have interaction. Again, think as a fashion photographer. Can you put two figures together and they interact and make me want to go like, okay, what kind of things they are talking about? Are they sisters? Are they like fighting? Or are they having like a love story? I don't know. You create it and then you show it to me and let me guess. And I think this is the game. That is the fun game, because the more things you want people to guess, the more they will look at your illustrations like, oh, now I discovered this, I discovered that. It's sort of like an Easter egg hunt. So think about creativity. Think about doing something cool and want people to look at it for like 5 minutes. Okay, so can you suggest anything about how to study background of brands for the essence of the brand, as I'm new to this? So if you want to study the background of a brand, A, Wikipedia is your best friend. So look into it. And then if you have no time afterwards, let's say Louis Vuitton, for example. Louis Vuitton didn't really have a clothing line until like Marc Jacobs joined LV. So I think his last collection was 2013. So from he started to 2013, you can look at it as one era, and then see how Nicholas Esquire actually evolved the brand. Because right now, for example, LV is really different than what it used to be. The style is really sporty. It's like streetwear, whereas beforehand, Marc Jacobs create elegant dresses or like outfits for women. So this is something that you can study. Wikipedia, look at the brands like runway shows. Always look into the brands runway shows and collectors like collection notes. So you can also go to Vogue and look at, like, usually if you go to runway and then when you look at each collection, there's like some kind of notes from the writer saying that, oh, this collection is inspired by this and this and this, and then you can start to dig into this, like the collection. And then somehow they also will tell you, especially they if old brands like Chanel, Dior, they always like to go back to the archives. So if you look at maybe 10 seasons or so, you can always find a lot of information about the brand aesthetic. Yep. So what other questions I can answer? Hit me with questions. I love to answer questions. I am trying to see if there's any questions. Yeah, so Yulia, you're good with me explaining the open call, right? So I hope that works. So far, there's nothing showing up. You can ask me about Celine Dion. You can ask me about MSGM, because this might be the perfect time to do it. Because like once I announce it, then I will stop talking. Like MSGM, another thing is I just find it so fun, because if you look at the product tag, they always have sort of like a pinata thing. Like it's a pinata tag with like a lot of strings. So think about that. Like think about party scenes. Think about a 70s like party scene. Don't just give me like a runway illustration. For the next Q&A, I actually will tell you when you can actually do runway illustrations, and there's a particular thing you can do with runway illustrations, but not right now. Let me see if there's any questions here. Nope, no question. Anyone? Tell me, like, or else I'm just gonna dance. If I need to define MSGM, what words come to my mind? Colorful, fun, energy, light. Let me think. Streetwear. I think that's pretty much all the words I have. It's just like a young, fun brand. And if you look at his, like, one thing I can tell you is go to MSGM, to their website. There's a little bio about Maximo. Study it. then look at the collection, and then combine your knowledge, combine your creativity into your artwork. And if you, as I said, if you want to submit late, then make sure you go on the Instagram story and see which outfit people like to pick the most. And then basically, if that's the case, just cross out those outfits and don't illustrate it unless you are completely emotionally attached and say, you know what, I know Marcus is going to pick this one. Then go for it. So I think that's pretty much it. Any other questions you have? If not, then I am gonna go off and I'm gonna put all the information for the MSGM on Patreon so that you guys get to see all the information. Yeah, I'm so excited for this one because you guys will get to pick one of the winners as well, and we're gonna crown that as the Patreon winner. It could be one of you guys. Who knows? Maybe tell all your friends to actually join Patreon so that they can vote for you. And yeah, if you like this live chat, you can definitely screen cap this, post it on Instagram. I will like repost it, and so hopefully there'll be more people will be interested in joining this Patreon to make this community like better and bigger. Because eventually, something I would tell you is eventually I do want to have a conference, and I feel like Patreon is just like the first step of testing the water and see how illustrators want to like work with each other, support each other, and like communicate with each other. If this is getting bigger and when the COVID situation is like under control, then maybe I will start to think about which country I should host like a small conference, and maybe once a year I will go to a different country and host like a little conference, and you guys can all come and like go for workshops, talk to people, like mingle, get some connections, all those stuff. So I feel like this is just a first step, and I'm glad that you are part of this, and I really want to like give more to you guys. So let me know if you have any like suggestions. I actually tell you that I'm going to look at the chat room and look at all the Patreon messages more than on Instagram right now, because I feel like you guys are the true Draw Dot like members, and I need to value your opinion more at this moment. So thank you so much for joining like me for this live, and thank you so much for being one of the first to join like Patreon. And yeah, please let me know if there's anything you want me to do, or if you have any perks you want me to add. I will do it. Except like singing and dancing, I will not do it. All right, so I'm gonna sign off right now. And if you have any questions, you can leave it on the chat room or like DM me on Patreon. I will like look at them all the time. All right, see you guys later, and hope you guys have a good day. Bye bye.